Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our quick publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms, and we have our own apps for Apple and Android. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to the Anfield Index Podcast, on which we have quite a lot to discuss very last minute. It was going to be one of those improvised summer shows where lots of topics would be coming from non-football areas, but we do have a big topic of football interest to discuss on Liverpool specific, so we'll get to that pretty soon. But let me introduce my guests to you this evening. They are the crew. I have, first of all, Kam Brainch. How you doing, my friend?
Yeah, very good, thanks. Really looking forward to tonight's show because the big news about the new pitch at Anfield, I think it's going to be a great topic of discussion tonight.
100% hybrid pitches are fascinating. I can't wait to talk.
It's right in your field of expert knowledge right now, Trev.
Yes, lovely field pun there as well. Excellent. I really do admire your work. Next up is Lisa Marie Hanahan. How are you? I believe you might even have a little quote to kick us off tonight.
I do have a little quote to kick us off on episode 329 of the podcast.
Look at you picking up the pieces. Lovely.
What I'm here for, Trev, what I'm here for. So, celebrate what you've accomplished, but raise the bar a little higher each time you succeed.
Ooh. That sounds like good maternal advice to your kids. Where's that coming from, and why did you find it appropriate today?
Oh, the legend that is Mia Hamm, U.S. soccer player.
Okay.
Yes,
right,
yes.
yeah.
Oh, I just felt that it's just in keeping with things that have happened today.
Yeah, I like it. It does tee us up nicely. And last but not least is Karl Coppack, who I believe is going to start the discussion with a very specific topic in a minute. But first of all, how you doing, my friend?
I'm all right. Yeah. I'm on holiday soon. Quite looking forward to that. So that's nice. But this isn't about this. Just to throw some light on what we do here on AIP is we, as we call it in WhatsApp, is we talk about what we're going to do on the show, and we really embrace the sort of the bigger issues. And Cam's being sort of quite flippant there by talking about the new pitch, but there's only one thing that's really dominated our chat. This is the day that Mo Salah signed his new contract. So we've been talking about the essence of time and how it acts differently for different people, about cosmology, about the 1915 Einstein's paper on special relativity. So I just thought I'd just
wonderful.
It's one of my favourites. It's one of my favourites. My top two theories of relativity. It's definitely up there. Which, of course, as you know, Trevor, that time acts differently and is relative to people rather than a steady constant. A second here may not be the same second anywhere else due to mass, which you would know as E equals mc squared. Lisa Marie's now asking why isn't she in the WhatsApp chat? This is why, Lisa Marie. It's called sparing you. Time is indeed.
I feel very excluded. I just want you to know.
When you can go, just believe me, you can go in. We should do a guest chat as well for the listener. Singular at this point. So if you want to get in touch with us on the show via Trev or Kam or what have you, or Lisa Marie, probably best not tag me into this. But if you want to hear more about cosmology and what happens to a watch as it approaches a black hole, when time and mass both become infinite at the same time, then get in touch with Trev. Thanks very much.
That's brilliant. I do look forward to all the absolute weirdos who are going to be talking to me about quantum theory. I have to say, I will absolutely take them on in that chat. I have many interests, and that's one of them, I have to say. So
Yeah, but Trevor, come to you. We've never been to the moon.
Well, that's clear. Yes, yeah. Yeah, that is clear. And you know, but I don't see where the conflict arises.
Do you know the story about Buzz Aldrin when someone said to him for the 4,000th time that it was all staged and he never went to the moon? Do you know what he did?
Oh, he's punched so many people. He's punched
a man square in the face.
I've seen it. I've seen that particular thing happen.
Oh, okay.
On video called Astronauts Gone Wild. It's tremendous. I recommend it. I recommend it to you right now.
Surely they've got a
right hook for his age.
Pardon me?
Yeah.
He's got a mean right hook for his age.
Yeah.
He's a cranky fucker. There's no two ways about it. And he let loose on a couple of people, but he wasn't the only one. The Astronauts Gone Wild video is great because it's this guy going around winding them up, saying you never went to the moon. Put your hand in the Bible or something, some nonsense like this.
And of course, a friend of the show, Stephen Toast, stumbled across Kubrick's masterminded the whole thing, directed it, didn't he, from a movie studio somewhere. And Stephen Toast, who's a bit of a hero man, and Trev's in particular, stumbled across it one day.
Absolutely. Big Steve wanders out on. Actually, I don't know if you've ever seen, or if you've ever seen Capricorn 1.
Yes.
But I would recommend that because that's a really interesting movie, which kind of takes a little look at the idea of what if it did have to be faked. And for the record, that could be a very interesting discussion. Karl's totally pigeonholed me there as some sort of lunatic fringe conspiracy theorist.
However, was lunatic a pun there, Trev? Or
it was a pun. I was very, very, very much a pun.
I'd like to know why Lisa Marie's now blocking us on WhatsApp.
We've also lost our solitary listener in the last 5 minutes as well.
Mr. N. Armstrong of Connecticut.
However, a B. Aldrin has just joined the chat, so we should get started. After Karl has derailed the show beautifully at the start. I always like that type of thing. And look, I'm not even joking. We might actually talk about the pitch, Kam, because it is.
I really want to.
I actually really want to as well because I've been doing a little bit of work on older matches, and you don't have to go back far to see grounds deteriorating. 20 years is all it takes, and people were playing on totally different surfaces. It's just another thing that we take for granted now. So we might actually get to that. But obviously, the only news in town is the Mo Salah renewal. Now, to put it in context for people, I was on Twitter this afternoon, and Mo's agent, Rami Abbas, tweeted an emoji, a laughing emoji. I've never seen a picture, a childish image, have such a reaction ever. And I understand why some people got wound up. Even Jamie Carragher was tagging in Mo Salah and telling him to have a word with this lad, who does appear to be quite a weirdo and quite I'd say he might not be the nicest lad. Let's put it that way. He also knows, or thinks he knows, how to play the media game and do the best for his client. And some people therefore got a little bit pissed at Mo because I think an awful lot of panic had been setting in with people that he was just going to walk. And then we see the club have done this little promo video showing him announcing that he stays, he signs. The details of the contract we'll get into in a second, but I want to get just a quick reaction from each of you to this pretty monumental news. I think we'll agree, because a lot of people were pessimistic that it would get done. A lot of people thought, well, he'll walk at the end of the year. Most people, I think, thought he would stay, and it was about making the best out of this last year of Mo Salah. That doesn't seem to be the case now, and we have something else to think about. So let me get your immediate reactions to the fact that this particular player has signed on the dotted line for an extended period. Lisa Marie, to start with you, I mean, it's hard not to be to feel quite vindicated in terms of the club's position by this decision, you'd have to say.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I expected him to get across the line eventually. And I kind of had a feeling it was going to be right about at this time period, as some of the stuff that, happens at the beginning of the transfer window and everything sort of kind of fades away and everything else. So I was pretty confident that it was going to happen, because I'm thinking, where else would he really want to go? I mean, I think, PSG, Genie's kind of shown what a disaster that can be. And I just really couldn't see him going anywhere else. So and maybe that's just my blind optimism speaking again. But saying all that, I'm happy that it's done, and hopefully we can stop talking about it for a while now. And speculating on it and worrying about it and all of that other.
Oh, sorry, I was muting myself there. Can you go?
Trev, what's going on?
Yeah, no. I've been chatting away to myself here. I just didn't know. I thought my earphones were. The fact we don't
you feel a call from Buzz Aldrin. That's what's been going on.
I've just gotten chinned. I've just gotten chinned by Buzz. So the point you made there about not having to talk about it, I think that's huge. I really do. It takes a lot of stress off this summer now, because if Mo's hanging around, we don't have to worry about the Mo replacement just as immediately. But I do have to ask the question now, Kam. I don't know if you've been watching the details here. I've got multiple tabs open on the club website itself. I've got an interview with Mo. I've got an interview with Jurgen reacting to it. I've got just a standard news item about Mo Salah signing the contract. But I can't see any details about the extension period.
3 years.
Is that so?
3 years.
3 years.
That's pretty much the common consensus. It's a 3 year extension.
It's
Okay,
not
okay.
It's a
3
3 year,
years on top
a new
of.
3 year contract. So it's till 2025 anyway.
Okay, so that's a 2 year extension, right?
Yeah,
because
three years.
But it's a
We were
it's a new
Yeah,
3 year
3 years
contract.
total.
Yeah, okay. But I guess what I'm saying is he was staying here for a
He's
year.
here till
But
he's
now,
33 is the thing.
Okay. So look, there's a couple of angles here, Kam, but the first one I want to talk to you about is, first of all, what do you think that represents? We have to be quite cynical here. That's 2 year extension on to the year that he was staying. 3 years in total. We'll have him now for sure.
Yeah.
Unless we want to sell him for a fortune next year or something like that. So what does that say to you, that time period? Because when I think about that and Mo being 33, I think if he continues to be fortunate with regards to serious injury, I don't know that aging makes a massive difference to this guy. Obviously, we have seen some people lose their speed, but we've also seen people like Ribery retain it, like Robin retain it, and Mo is such a specimen of a fella. I don't think the fitness is going to be an issue. So I think we get 3 really good years of the Mo Salah sort of career here that are not going to necessarily see too many diminishing returns at all, and that's quite exciting.
Yeah, I mean, you've made some really good points there, Trev. Just quickly before I address that, I just wanted to say, I'm not sure if it was yourselves I mentioned to before Christmas that my understanding was it was all agreed last October, and it was just a question of they had to see it out till the 30th of June because of image rights and stuff like that. So I just want to say big shout out to, I'm not going to say who it is, just shout out to the person who told me and the person who told them, obviously. They may well be listening, and kudos to them. The other one was last week. You when we were doing the show, you said, what was your hopes for this summer going forward? As in terms of transfers. But the biggest thing for me was today. What happened now, in that Mo signing a new contract? That was huge, because you can't replace Mo Salah right now. I can't think of another player in the world who could come into a Liverpool football team and do what Mo does. And to have that worry now gone for the next 3 years of, even just for next summer, not next summer, next season, sorry, of thinking, well, he's not signing a new contract. That means he's got to be going next year. And that's all we would have been hearing for the whole of the season. Regardless of if Liverpool had won every single game, they would still be talking about Mo leaving next summer. That's all the talk would be. So to have that put to bed and done, dusted, and tucked up in the drawers, it's wonderful. We can now look forward to having Mo Salah for his peak years. And I think what will happen going forwards is it'll be like a Jimmy Milner situation where they may give another 2-year contract in say 2 years' time and extend it for another 2 years, and like that, and just keep reducing the contract length. I don't think, unless he seriously, goes backwards in terms of the quality that he's producing on the pitch. Why would he go if we're successful? And honestly, if we're successful, where would he go then? It's only a step backwards, isn't it? So it's a win-win for everybody. If Mo's doing well and Liverpool are doing well, we're going to get the best of Mo. We're going to be winning trophies. We're going to be challenging for titles. We're going to be winning cups. And we're going to be then looking at extending his contract again, providing his fitness. Look at, no, and I don't want to say it, I don't want to bring him in the conversation, but as a 37-year-old, 33 miles down the road, who scored a shitload of goals this last season for a shitty, scummy team, in a rubbish team. Why can't Mo exceed that and go beyond?
Yeah, if he does have that luck with the serious injury, I think there is now a real chance. I heard people talking about several people talking about, would Mo ever have a chance of getting close to Rushy's record? And I personally think that's unassailable.
I think no chance.
I think he could do a really good job of being, free and clear by a mile in second. I think there are a couple more 30-goal seasons left in Mo, and that in and of itself is exciting. He was asked there by the interviewer for the club website about,
records.
what were you thinking when you were coming here in 2017? He said, well, in 2017, I came here, I told you I wanted to win trophies. And wow, look at what's happened since that man has been in the team. There's a league, there's a Champions League, there are 2 cups this year, there's a Club World Championship, Super Cup, all those kind of things are up on the wall now. And it's no coincidence that it's the era of Mo Salah. The success thing is a huge, huge point, Kam. I'm going to come back to that actually as a separate topic in a minute when we look at the team overall, because that's my biggest upset with this year. And I don't care if it makes me sound like a cry arse. I want these big titles for this team. They deserve them. And I really, really want the league or Champions League next year. Like anything else will feel like a loss with this great bunch of players, this incredible manager, this incredible collective that we have. So Mo Salah being there enhances those chances greatly. And Karl, just to get your take on it as well, obviously give me whatever your immediate feedback is, but there is just a sort of an angle I'd like you to consider too, which is now that Mo Salah has signed, anyone who was thinking about coming to the club, if they had any doubts at all, that's the type of thing that can make possibly a difference, even if it's only to see that a player can come to this club and do well and get rewarded, and then get rewarded again at a higher level because they did fantastic stuff. So you could possibly imagine the likes of a Bellingham having a look and saying, all right, there's a clear path to success and reward at that club. And also, there's a lad called Mo Salah could be supplying passes for. that little angle might make a difference if in getting somebody attracted to the club as well, which can only be a good thing. Your overall reaction to the Salah signing?
I think it speaks volumes to the club's development of the Jurgen Klopp, because ordinarily what would happen is Michael Owen, Steve McManaman, Gerrard, even though he stayed, was wanting to go because he wasn't winning trophies at Liverpool. And the owners, had they sold him and Sadio in the same season, I'm not completely FSG out. I don't want anyone to own my club, but there would be a sense of, well, they didn't match his money because they wanted to see the money come back. I know, get like 100 million quid for him, something like that. So it's a statement of, you know what, we're happy we are. We're not going to be better than us. Yes, he's expensive. He's going to be more expensive if he does well, if the rumours are to be believed. But Trevor's played 156 games for Liverpool and scored 254 games for Liverpool and scored 156. If he scores 3 goals, he goes past Michael Owen. I mean, you know, these are the things we're talking about. These are the stats. You know, if he has a 20-goal season next year, which would be disappointing for him, he goes past Kenny, minus 200 games. I mean, these are the levels we're talking about. And if he gets another 50 goals, he's going to go. I think he's going to go past. Well, he's going to go past Gerrard now. He may be pushing Billy Little in 4th from 2 to 8. Well, I'll take that. He's not getting near the top 3, I think, but because they are silly numbers. But this is what we want. We want the club to say, yeah, he's brilliant, not, oh, he's expensive, because the club can afford it. And it's a huge boost for everyone. It's a boost for Darwin Núñez as well, and Karl, you know, the other lads who've just come in. And I'd like to think that it had to do with the new lad coming in from Aberdeen. Once he saw him, he just thought, well, now I'm staying. That is a long shot at best. But yeah, it's a statement, and it's you don't want to see him in another man's shirt, do you? That's the thing, like Sadio, and as I said last time, and I've got no problem with Sadio going at all, because he's done enough for us. He's, you know, more than happy with that. But we've got the world's best goal scorer, and you can have Haaland, and you can have Messi, you can have Ronaldo. We've got the world's best goal scorer. Even if he's not scoring them, he's still scoring them. He's just not scoring quite as many. But yeah, he's on 156 now. He's going to get 200 goals for Liverpool.
He's going to get 200 goals for Liverpool again, with the caveat of maintaining fitness and all the rest of it. But you know, even if that 3-year contract now, hopefully that will mean, well, it doesn't really, but let's assume 3 campaigns, and let's assume that he gets a minimum of 20, 25 goals across all competitions in each of those, because that's just what he does. That's 75 goals to add on to his current 156, which is getting very, very close to Billy Little. And then another campaign could see him get to Gordon Hodgson in 3rd. The jump to Roger Hunt on 285 and then to Rushy in 346, I think is just going to require him to stay here for 5 or 6 seasons, scoring 30 goals. And let's be honest, that's bananas. But it's testament to the guy that he's up here, up in those conversations, on those chats. As you said, in the comparative game count as well, is really, really, really impressive. Can I just talk to all of you on the next topic? I mean, what is the knock-on effect then for us next season? Most of us, I think we talked our way around, even in the last show, thinking, okay, if Mo is heading off at the end of the year, I think he'll still do a good job for us. But as Kam rightly points out, there would have been endless chatter, which is quite, it's bad for morale, I think. And it's definitely bad for the team and the squad, thinking about it all the time, it being a topic. Footballers, however, as young Mulby constantly reminds me, are a bit of a different breed. They are sort of self-focused. They don't think about things maybe as deeply as we do as fans. They just get on with their job. So maybe that's overplaying it. But Lisa Marie, to start with you on this, I mean, what do you think is the big knock-on effect of this for us? Do you see it maybe resulting in more signings? Do you think that getting this deal done means that is absolutely it now, and Jimbo Pierce will be saying in a tweet tomorrow that Liverpool's shop is shut for the summer? Or Do you think that the most important knock-on effect is, as both Karl and Kam were saying, and as Mo himself said all the way through that interview, he mentioned trophies and winning things about 15 or 20 times. Is that really the biggest upshot?
I think it brings a level of what's the word I'm looking for? Consistency, or just everyone just sort of less distraction. Because as I guess it was Karl who said that if he hadn't signed it before the season started, that would have been the tagline at the end of every article or every interview or whatever. At the end of every game was, okay, and what about Mo's contract? So we don't have, we were hearing it already here and there throughout this season. So I think it's not there to be distracting. And I think it could also be an additional thing that will help us to maybe attract players to the club. If we do sign, I don't know. We might very well be done, but I'm holding out hope, fingers crossed and all of that, that we are going to still get a midfielder in, be it Jude or whomever, because I think we need that for the depth. But that could be something that attracts these potential signings, is the fact that they get to play with Mo Salah, and not just maybe for a season, but for an extended period of time. So I think it's going to kind of help focus everyone, because we've got Virgil on a long-term deal and Ali on a long-term deal, and it just, everyone is kind of, for the most part, that core group is very much settled here for the next couple seasons, and I think it's just going to be like, okay, and let's go, and everyone get out of our way.
Yeah, I love that idea. I do love that idea. And Kam, the group, as Brendan used to call them, is absolutely ready to go and hit the ground running. And despite the fact that there were 2 trophies won, there will be a real sting at the 2 big ones missed out in such circumstances at the end of the year. That feeling of perhaps a little bit of injustice around it as well. And, more to the point, someone like Mo talking about winning all the time. Most of these guys, they are just natural winners. It's very heartening, isn't it, to think of the start of the campaign now, the buzz around the place, knowing that we're going to get to see this guy do things like he did against Watford and Manchester City for another couple of years. That can only be a wonderful thing, because I read somewhere today, Kam, and you can talk to me about this if you wouldn't mind, that players do also accept, there's all this stuff about wage structure and all the rest of it. And whereas we don't want to have someone being paid like 3, 4, 5 times what another player is being paid, who's also a very highly renowned international footballer. But people understand, and it's only really in the world of 2022 where we all have to be so careful about everything, and offence reigns, that it's only really in that kind of environment that people couldn't hold up their hands and admit that there's a hierarchy. There's a hierarchy everywhere. If you're in a group of mates, you accept quietly, oh, well, Billy Bob is the best at pool. Or, you're sitting around and go, oh, well, Jim Bob is the funniest in the group. There's a hierarchy in everything. And I think people accept that. And I don't think there would be any massive issues that Mo Salah, the man who does the things that Mo Salah can do, will be paid more than other people. I mean, do you see that being a problem?
No, I see it being as a, what's the word I'm looking for? A goal for others to try and achieve those heights and say, well, we want to be paid as much as Mo Salah. We've seen that the club will reward you if you perform. And
yeah,
if you can't use that as an incentive to, play better yourself, rather than say, well, oh, he's getting paid more than me. Well, that's not the group of players we have. They will be absolutely over the moon and boosted that Mo Salah has signed a new contract, because players want to play alongside the best players in the world, and Mo Salah is the best player in the world. And it's as simple as that. we will, like I said, we're going to get the benefit of Mo for the next 3 years. There's no doubt about that. New signings, if there is any, we're still looking at over the next couple of months. We'll now be looking at that thinking, well, Mo's there. Why is Mo staying there? It's got to be a reason. That club is the club to be at. It's just brilliant all round, you know. As much as us as fans are boosted by it, everybody at the club, even Karl and Canteen, they'll be over the moon as well. You know, he's a great guy, isn't he? He's just a brilliant all round guy. You know, we lost one in Sadio. We couldn't look forward to lose Mo now. You know, he just brings sparkle and joy. You know, that smile. And I don't know if you guys saw the video that the club did. You know, an open letter to Mo Salah, and it was like, obviously it wasn't an open letter. It was a video. You know, fans commenting on Mo Salah, and one of the lads turned around and said, I've never met him, but I love him more than my mum and dad.
That was the best line.
And I just think that is just the best way of summing up how everybody connected with Liverpool Football Club feel about the fact that Mo has signed this new contract.
He is a bit fat though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's getting lardy, all right. I saw him referred to.
He's overtaken me and you, Karl. That's for sure.
Someone put something. Go ahead, Trev.
This is probably what you were going to say, Lisa Marie. It was a chat I was in. Maybe it was Discord, or maybe it was WhatsApp. But someone referred to him as Canyon Abs, which I thought was fantastic.
Well, along those lines, someone was like, and it was in Discord earlier today. They're like, "What's with every picture of Mo in the last week or so with his shirt off?" And I'm like, "And how is this a problem? I'm not seeing the issue."
If I was shaped like that, my wardrobe would be halved. I wouldn't need the top half whatsoever. I'm not putting a t-shirt on over that. No way.
Yeah. It's definitely a remarkable thing, and it's a huge part actually of what I was going to ask you about, Karl, because tell you what, this lad has a healthy ego on him, you know, and it's only getting bigger. And I think that was sort of rubbing me the wrong way, that all the interviews he was given towards the end of the season, just as his productivity in terms of goal scoring was starting to wane, he was talking a great game altogether. But it's very much part of the lad that he is. And even though I think some of us may still have that old school thing of wincing a little bit when you hear people talking about themselves in an extremely positive way, I think the problem's there for us rather than for them, because he was asked in the interview there, in terms of you coming to Liverpool, how grateful are you to the people who showed such faith in you to bring you to the club back then? Now, you know how Jordan Henderson's going to answer that, how Jimmy Milner's going to answer that, you know how even possibly the likes of Sadio would have answered that. Mo says, of course, I'm sure we both did a great job to bring me here. I did a great job with the team. I want to thank everybody who helped me to come here, but there's still a long way to go. And he's never really short about pointing out to you what it is that he's done. Talking about that top 10 goal scorers thing, the interviewer says to him, it's an amazing statistic to be ninth on the list already. Of course, says Mo, especially when you do it in a short time as a winger with many assists. It's something great. I have to say, I kind of always loved that about him. I don't have that squeamish thing that an awful lot of people do about that, statements of confidence like that. It's an interesting part to his character that I think does stand him in good stead. And there's no way you carve yourself up in that way, that you've got these Canyon abs, if it's purely 100% only for performance. It's also he's also highly aware of himself in that kind of healthy self-regard, I think, that you need to have if you're going to be a big-time striker, stroke winger, as he says himself. What do you think about that side of Mo Salah?
He's not a man who wants the confidence. is he, or underplays his ability in any way. It's a good thing for a striker. I mean, we had it for too long with the club where players were doing that and they weren't delivering, but he delivers and he delivers constantly. So that's it's fine. I think it's the old Carragher debate, isn't it? You can wear white boots or gold boots if you want, but you've got to be a player who's allowed to wear white and gold boots.
Yeah,
not just. Oh, I'm thinking. I think of every other Liverpool number 9 we had from the 90s, well, 90s and 2000s, to be honest, who made up they were legends and they won sod all. It's if he backs himself and he's got a point. So I'm absolutely fine with that. I know what you mean, that there's some people like a bit of swagger and things like that. So yeah, we're dead good at this, blah blah, and it can bite you on the arse. Everyone knows that as well. But I'd rather he said it than Lukaku. Yeah, but what do you want? I'm fine with him being that, but just back it up. Just don't. If he doesn't score for the first 20 games of the season and he's still saying it, then I think we may have an issue.
Do you think, folks, that the season that he's had, where yes, there were 2 trophies won, that's tremendous, that's special, and yes, he won a lot of personal awards, and let's face it, he would have won the shit out of those awards if the second half of the season had been the same as the first. Do you think it's going to be a factor for him and several other of our big name players that, those last 2 big trophies didn't get over the line? And for Mo as well, there's the complication, Lisa Marie, of the failure at the last minute in the AFCON as well. That's got a sting. And, there was a lot of talk about Mo's going to come back from that fired up. That didn't really work out to be the case, but perhaps the fella, as we discussed on so many pods, probably could have benefited from a holiday more than anything else, which, as well as all the other good news he's currently getting, which can only be a good thing you'd have thought for him and us.
Yes. And I think that fatigue, that underlying fatigue coming back from AFCON, I think that certainly did play a role. I mean, and as you said, we've discussed that, from time to time on this podcast. So I think it's just going to be a whole combination of things, that he's had the rest, he's had the break away, a proper kind of holiday that, a lot of us have been allowed to take here for the first time in a while. And yeah, I think it's just allowed him maybe to reset, recharge. And again, this contract done, that's not a distraction. Even if it was a distraction for him, at least he's not going to be asked the question or anything. So I think it is. I think it's going to give him that just sort of reset, refocus. As I said, get out of our way, because here we come. And I do there, and it is funny. I was thinking as you were talking, Trev, what is it about Mo? We don't mind that little bit of ego, that little bit of, I'm great, look at me. But yet, say someone like Ronaldo does it, and I just want to smack him. So I don't know what it is. And I don't think it has anything to do with he's ours and Ronaldo plays for whomever else. I think there's just something about him, because I think even under all of, Mo's swagger, there's just something so genuine about him, just something warm and welcoming. And, you see pictures of him with his cats on Instagram, or I don't know, there's just something about him, as compared to Ronaldo or whatever, that just is just annoying.
Ronaldo comes across as a slime ball.
He does. Well, that's because he is.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But also, Mo's just kind of an inherently charming kind of a fella.
Yeah, there is. There's just a different kind of charm to him. Or maybe it's because there is. There's just something about him. I mean, I don't know. I was just thinking, there was just crossed my mind as you and Karl were talking, and I was like, what is the difference? And I can't put it into words, but it's there.
I'll tell you what it is, Lisa Marie.
Right,
Ronaldo is a very, very selfish player.
Yeah.
Whereas Mo, whilst he has that selfishness, he's also a team player, because his work ethic. You'll see him in the 90th minute at right back. having gone back 60, 70 yards. You won't see that with Ronaldo. You'll see
absolutely
Mo.
right, Cam.
You'll see Mo looking for an assist. Yes, like I say, there is that selfishness about him. No doubt he's on an incentive-based contract, and for how many goals he gets, that's a given. But he still will give the assist. If you look at his second half of this season, Mo always starts the season on fire. Every season he's played for us, last 5 seasons, he's always started the season on fire, all the way up to Christmas. He's been phenomenal, especially last season, when we were talking about him being the world's best player. But if you still look at his numbers post AFCON, his assists, his XG, I know Trev loves that because he's a stat ladder, and his XG, his XA, his contribution still within the team was the highest of any other player. So he doesn't hide, he doesn't shirk, he doesn't go missing.
He doesn't go stand there at the goal and wait for someone to pass him the ball so he can tap it in.
People, why didn't you? Yeah, exactly. Why didn't you give me the ball? I could have scored. It's not me.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's team, and that's the difference.
That's absolutely it, Cam. You're absolutely right. That's it right there.
And that's my TED talk for today.
Well, you're going to come back with the reprise now, because I want to bounce Jurgen's reaction off you, Cam. He says all the usual things you'd expect to say about supporters and how he's really, really pleased in that Jurgen way. But there's a very interesting quote here. He says it's the best decision for us and the best decision for him. He belongs with us, I think. This is his club now. And it's like he could be talking about himself, right, in that regard. That's very interesting, the parallel there between player and manager. But I love this quote here as well, and I just want you to respond to anything you like out of these or that previous one. He says, quote, "I have no doubt Mo's best years are still to come," and that's saying something because the first 5 seasons have been the stuff of legend, he says. He continues, quote, "Fitness-wise, he's a machine in the most incredible shape. He works hard on it and he gets his rewards. His ability, his skill levels get higher each season, and his decision-making has gone to another level also. He is adored by his teammates. As coaches, we know we work with someone special, and the supporters have crowned him a king." So, typical Jurgen here, very cool. And he goes on to talk about his great news. He says, "It makes me smile just thinking about it. I love this. This is genuine reaction from Jurgen, from the heart. And the parallel between him and the player, very, very interesting. The commitment to the club, the idea of, I kind of belong here. There's things to be done together at this place. This is exactly the stuff we want to be hearing, Cam.
What can I add to that? Honestly, Trev. Seriously, what can I say to everything that Jurgen has said there? He said everything we should have just done that for the pod. That was it. What he said there is absolutely everything we've been saying for the last 35, 40 minutes. And he said it in 2 minutes, in a minute. We're just stupid, aren't we? Honestly. I mean,
we like the sound of our own voices.
Well, I certainly don't, but I know you do. Yeah. You've got a model voice, you have. I'm not jealous, honestly. No, it's I think that a bit about this is his club, and I think that's really telling in all of this, because you've got to remember, Mo Salah wanted to come to Liverpool when he was at Basel. I really genuinely believe that he wanted to come to Liverpool. We know every club, every player, out there, when they retire, they all say, "Where did you want to play?" Look at Thierry Henry. Which club did you want to play at? Which stadium did you want to? Did you most want to play in, or did you most, enjoy playing in? A lot of them will say Liverpool. A lot of them will say Anfield. It is a truly special place, and it's made special because of not just the players, not just the club itself, but because of the people of Liverpool, the fans of Liverpool, all around the world. We are special. And when you've got special players with a special relationship with everything that is going on around the club, it's the perfect storm, isn't it? It truly is.
I love it. I love it. And like you say, there's something about the way he put those thoughts together. It is great. That's why I wanted to read it out, because it's quite evocative, and he does that thing, Karl, Jurgen does, where he knows it's a real skill. He knows the right things to say. It can, I think, coming out of someone else might sound a bit mawkish, but he always strikes the right note. Jurgen always strikes me as well as one of those guys who, yeah, he's famous for hugging his players. It's no doubt something that rival fans love to hate. The connection, the celebrations with the crowd after matches, the fist bumps. I'm sure all that stuff winds opposition fans up to the hilt. But there will be a lot of them who'd be honest enough to say they'd love to see that connection between a manager and a fan group. But when you hear him talk about a player in such exalted terms, and how he as this player in question is adored by his teammates, that's so powerful, and it just makes you want the season to fucking start tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? We all need a break, obviously, but it just leaves you so chomping at the bit. Is it chomping or champing at the bit? I mean, it should be chomping, because that's
Chomping.
No, it's champing, horse champs.
It's champing.
Yeah.
That's yeah. So there you go. Champing at the bit. We should, it does leave you with that high level of anticipation for the season to come, Karl.
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah, because it's a strange time for Liverpool. I've been writing for a year or so about the fact that the team's getting older, and that we were talking only the other day about the front three all going, which is more than possible. One thing I think we should be thinking about is the fact that he may not stay right wing for 3 years. He might drift into a 9 or sort of what used to be called the split striker role. If his pace goes a little bit, he's still got the guile, so he can still open up spaces. So he might even change somewhat. There's a lot of strikers too; they jump back a bit further, don't they? So it's yeah, I'm ready for the Charity Shield. Bring it on. I'm happy with that.
For so many reasons, even if it's just to see the Haaland fella on the pitch, and the curiosity value that I have around that, to see Darwin Núñez on a pitch for us, and to see the imbeciles on Twitter making direct comparisons between the two of them from the start, no doubt. All of these things can be enjoyed if you have the right kind of mindset about it. And
Can I mention that? Because I find this thing really interesting. Haaland's a good player, and I think it's okay to say that. I mean, we're talking about Ronaldo. He's a very deeply unlikable man. I've got other issues with him, which probably we shouldn't really be talking about for legal reasons, but hell of a footballer. And sometimes I think it's okay to say that. He's a fantastic footballer. But I'm just happy with ours.
yeah, the Haaland thing is fascinating to me on that level. On every podcast on which I was allowed freedom to witter, I have said that the person, if I had my magic pick, it wouldn't have been Kylian Mbappe. I wanted us to get Haaland because he strikes me as a terrifying monster of a footballer,
Yes.
and I think that he has the potential to pull up trees in the
I think
Premier
he's
League.
more Lukaku than Sprite-like, isn't he? He's built in. He's huge.
He is, but it's the directness of him that's quite terrifying for opposition. Now, listen, they're evolving, we're evolving, and if you don't back Liverpool, then you haven't been paying attention for the Klopp era. You just haven't been paying attention, and that's on you. That's your foolishness. But for me, the most exciting thing about Haaland being good for Manchester City is that, okay, well, that's the standard now that we have to attain, and I can't wait I can't wait to see how Klopp finds a way to do that, because he will, and that is tremendously exciting to me. Now, look, the obvious knock-on effect is, like I said earlier on, is over the next couple of days we can expect in the same way as it was really well done there just the day after the FFP regulations had to be all the ducks had to be in a row for June the 30th. And all of a sudden, what do you know, for 1st of July, Mo's deal is being announced, financial ducks in a row. Don't be surprised then, I guess, if there is those leaked tweets, well, not leaked tweets, but little bits of leaked information about the shop being shut for the summer. In that case, I think we should just, maybe accept that. I don't see any great benefit to be had in beating a dead horse. I really want us to get another one in. I want us to get an energetic first team midfielder. I think we can all agree that would be a lovely thing to have. And the reason I want that is not because I think I just want new shiny things. I want us to win all the things. And, Mo's even saying it there in his interview that he thinks we can compete on all fronts, and we should be. And he's right, even with the outgoings. And just let's focus on that for a second, because it looks like Nico Williams, it's a matter of getting a deal done with Forest, and Taki Minamino's gone, Sadio's gone, Divock is gone. There is going to be quite a clear out. Lots of other lads who are sort of fringe or kids going out of the club as well. So there is room, you would have thought, for a little bit of squad refreshment. So I just want to get, and I don't want to get into it, I just want to get your feeling on whether you think that Mo deal might be the last bit of business for the summer in terms of anything beneficial to the team as opposed to people going out, because that could still happen as the summer goes on if we get a proper offer for Oxlade-Chamberlain or the like. So Kam, just to start with you, do you think that's pretty much us now for the summer? The Mo news is the big happy moment, and we should get used to the fact that Joyce's leaked bit of information about no more business being done and we might get we'll be looking at getting a midfielder for next year. That's about the height of our ambitions, do you think?
That's anybody's guess, isn't it? I think there might be some contract renewal news for certain players. I believe there's a couple coming up to. There's about 3 or 4 players, I think, with 1 year left. How long has Joel Matip got left on his contract? Anybody know? So I'd like to see him get a contract extension. I'd just like him to be around as well.
Yeah, agreed.
I think he could, I think he's got a lot to offer to Joe Gomez and Kanate going forwards. He's got a wealth of experience, and if he slowly gets moved down to being, say, like the 4th choice centre back, still a brilliant 4th choice centre back, where Joe and Ibu Kanate are vying for the 2nd choice centre back. So I'd like to see something like that happen. I think Karl's going to love me for this one. I think we need to have a decision made on what's going to happen to Naby, because he's got 1 year left on his contract, and we know what he can do. The trouble is getting him to be on the pitch to do it more often. We know that when Naby plays, he's averaged the most points per game than anybody else since he's been at the club. So that tells you that when he's on the pitch, something right is happening. We just need him on the pitch more often to do that. So if we're going to keep him, give him a new contract, obviously. If we're not going to keep him, then I would be looking to sell him this summer and getting a midfielder in. Then we definitely have to get a midfielder in, because we can't afford to have spent £50 million on Naby, whatever it is, and then for him to go on a free next year. That would be criminal, in my opinion. You either give him a contract extension and sell him, and because you're protecting your investment that way, or you give him a contract extension, keep him, or you sell him now. It can't be. We can't let Naby go into free contract territory next year. I think that'd be really bad business by the club as a whole. I can't remember who else. I know there's another 2 or 3 players whose contracts are running like with the year level.
I've got to tell you, the big ones are Firmino and Chamberlain and Keita. I feel like Reece Williams and who go next year
Firmino,
as well.
I think Firmino's gone next summer. I think
yeah.
I don't think he won't get a new contract now. We can see he's regressing as a player, and I believe he will be gone on a free next summer. I think they probably said to him, "Look, Bobby, you're going to play less, and we'll let you leave for a free next year." As a gesture of goodwill, and for everything you've done for the club, because he's not going to fetch a massive fee. He will fetch a fee. Somebody will probably pay 15-20 million for it, no doubt. But we need Bobby. Bobby still has a lot to offer for another year. You can see, because his game intelligence is off the charts, and we know what he brings to the team. So again, now we've seen an evolution now of the front three. It's now going to be the front four and Bobby. And I think we're gonna because obviously if you look at it now, you got Nunes there, you got Jota there, and you got Luiz there. You got those three have come in the last year, and we still got two of the original front three as well. It's just been brilliant business by Liverpool over the last couple of seasons. It really has. They've just quietly gone about it, just got the players at the right time, just when we've needed them. When Diaz came in January, such a brilliant lift for the club at that point. It really was. And then to get Nunes, get it done early, done. Brilliant business.
So Ben Davies has a 6-year deal. Wow.
He has a what?
6-year deal.
Good Lord, really?
One for the future.
He's on about 20p a week, but I think which is why they've done it, because he costs sod all. So,
but he'll be gone.
He's also 26 according to this.
Yeah, he'll definitely make his way away, and hopefully we'll let him just go off. I mean, the poor fella's never even played. But it's. I've
got a feeling Che Ojo might not stay either, Trev, to be honest.
Yes, there's a fine chance Che Ojo might leave. Very interesting as well that Aston Villa and Forest have been asking about Joe Gomez. Sorry, Aston Villa have been asking about Joe Gomez. Stevie reaching out there apparently, and both Villa and Forest have made inquiries about Curtis Jones, and I think from what we've heard that they've both been told to bore off. So it's interesting that Joe is very much part of the plans, because he could be having a look around and going, where am I getting minutes here? Because he's so good, Joe Gomez. He's such a good
English centre back by far.
Yeah, he's such a good footballer. Like you want him to be playing, and it's the pecking order now is so tough. I mean, Ibu's a monster, Virgil's a monster, Joel has been mostly a monster. It's going to be very hard to break in there, but look, an embarrassment of riches is exactly what we want, and it's been added to or solidified by the news about Mo Salah today. So as we approach the hour, we should start wrapping it up. I have a couple of things over the course of the summer that I wanted to do on the show that are non-fully related. I've got some really good bits of crack for us to get into at various chunks of the show between now and the season starting. But this one has quite rightly been hijacked by Pure Football in the news about Mo Salah, and I'm delighted we were able to do it on the day as well. It's got an extra sort of heft to it for that reason. I'll definitely put something about Mo in the show title as well, so we get as many eyes on it as possible and ears on it as possible. But before I sign us off completely, was there anything that anybody wanted to do by way of plugs or anything like that before we go? I think, Karl, you said you had something, did you?
No, Kam does, but my Sherlock Live podcast is the 16th of July. You can sign up to it. If you give me a follow on Twitter and I'll put you in the right direction.
Yeah, again, as it gets closer and closer, I want to be pushing that out from my own account, from the Great Stories as well, because I think there should be a great confluence of interest there, and hopefully that'll go great for you. Lisa Marie, is there anything you wanted to finish off with?
No, I'm headed out of town next week to potentially die of heat stroke in Orlando, Florida. But yeah, other than that, hope everyone has a great weekend. It's a holiday weekend here in the U.S. as 4th of July is on Monday. So For our U.S. listeners, happy 4th of July, and enjoy your holiday.
Lovely stuff, and yeah, you make sure you get yourself into the shade there. You've been really badly afflicted by the old heat this year.
Yes.
I feel a lot of sympathy for you there. So hopefully that goes well, and the trip away. Do you reckon that might rule you out of the running for next week's show?
Likely. I'll have to touch base with you. I mean, we will be down there that day, but I'll have to kind of look at the schedule. Part of the reason we're going is my daughter is dancing in the parade down Main Street in the Magic Kingdom. So I've kind of got to get the schedule of when things are happening. So I'll touch base with you later in the week, Trev.
That's quite the sentence you just said there about what your kid's up to. Wow. Okay, I look forward to
the only reason I am going to Orlando in July, let me tell you.
Wow, I look forward to the match report on that one. And Kam, I know you probably I think you have something you wanted to finish off with, or just a shout out to somebody as well. So if you want to do that.
Yeah, just a couple of things. Firstly, just touching on what Karl said earlier, time is not real; it's just numbers. So don't worry, people. Okay.
No, it's not.
Time is just numbers. That is fantastic, and I believe you ahead of Coppack all the.
It's not.
Yeah, it's just numbers, Karl. It's just fucking numbers. Anyway, what else did you want to say?
I just want to give a shout out to a brilliant person. Brilliant.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Is he right about time as well?
Trev, just go stand over on the east wing and just stand there and look at the mirror. That's all you need to do. All right. You don't have to worry about anything else. Just look at the mirror. Yeah.
Salah-like confidence I've got here.
So as I was saying, and was wonderfully interrupted. It's like be quiet for 20 seconds and everybody just starts talking before the show starts. So I just wanted to give a shout out to a really wonderful person, genuinely lovely guy, always helping, always there for you. Can honestly say a brilliant brother, and thank you for everything you've done for us and for lots of people, not just myself. You know, you always go above and beyond, and that's to Harinder Baji. You're just a top fella, geezer, just a top man. Thank you.
That's lovely. I'm sure Harinder will hear that and appreciate it, and echoed by all of us as well. A good lad, even though he gives me dog's abuse. We should wrap it up.
Actually, I'll take it all back now. You said that. I'm not the only one that gets all the gifts, isn't it? Oh, what was I?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think
they're the gifts that keep on giving.
They sure are. They sure are. So we should wrap it up. You heard Lisa Marie Hanahan, you heard Karl Coppack.
We're not actually out of time as such, Trev. It's because time is it can't run out. It's the basic staple of the universe, and it should be treated with respect.
Well, no, because time is just numbers. We are actually out of time now.
Time isn't numbers.
The numbers have just run out. In other words, the time is gone.
Trev.
Yeah.
Numbers don't run out, though. That's the point.
Oh, they do.
No,
Buzz Aldrin told me that. Good luck.
He was drunk.
We'll see you next week.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.